All right, new week, new day, new everything. So I'm just gonna go through a couple of things that I did at the open. I actually had a pretty good read at the beginning. I had a pretty good trade. Actually, the first two trades were actually really good. I noticed that when Nasdaq was trading down here, it was the volume wasn't really looking good, in my opinion. And also I noticed rejection on this retest here. So what I did was I actually bought when it came back up here, around here. But then I got stopped out in break even, which is, well, it happens. And then this next bar, I noticed that it opened here and then it came down, down, down. And then what I did was when it traded back high and it broke its own high, I actually bought the break again. And I actually exited a profitable trade into the 50% of the gap. And after that, I think I actually got a little bit obsessed with the shorts. So I shorted here after I actually, in this retest here, after I actually had a winner trade. And then I shorted the previous bar a high here, and it wouldn't actually do anything. So yeah, after that, I actually will let it be. And then now my current trade, basically, I actually bought the previous bar low here, anticipating a probably deeper retest to the 50% and maybe a continuation to the upside. My exit point is this high around here after this range is broken. So I think if there's a continuation, it could possibly push way higher. So I think this is a good exit point for me. So let's see if it does that. If it doesn't, well, I probably would get a stop out. I don't know. Let's see what happens. This close is not convincing at all because yeah, it closed below these previous bars here, but the rejection this after the retest is actually quite good in my opinion. So I think it could possibly continue trading higher, but I guess I'm about to find out. I decided to have a little bit extra risk here because it was possible that the price will retest 50%, which actually did. And well, it could have continued tanking, but it didn't. So I don't know if now it's gonna be, well, downside or whatever. Let's see. I'm good with this risk, so it's okay. And gold, actually, so far I only took one trade. And what I did was I basically bought the inside bar here high on the second bar after the open because I didn't see any like downside activity. So I just decided to that this was a plus to me, and if it was to not to trade lower higher, I would just short the inside bar low. So far I have actually the same risk that I started when I opened the trade. I'm not gonna touch it yet. I actually want to see a stronger close around this range here, or either this one here, and then I'm gonna start moving to break even. If it gets there, if it doesn't, if I see, for example, soon that it goes to somewhat break even, then I'm gonna probably just do this. I'm not gonna take at this point full risk loss, so it wouldn't make no sense. I think this is good. I'm gonna let it be for now. I'm gonna let it breathe. This target that I have in gold is basically this swing high above this range that the price is currently breaking. So let's see if he wants to trade higher, if he wants to go somewhere, if he wants to do something. If he doesn't, well, nothing to do. I also have in mind that if the price continues to fail, it might give me a short, so I could actually go for the current day gap here, or even for this upper quadrant of the current gap. So let's see what it does. Let's see what it wants to do, and we'll see later what's happening. Nasdaq so far doesn't seem to want to go anywhere. Pretty much, I don't know, kind of hesitating around. I'm aware that I could get stopped out, but yeah, it's fine. This risk is assumed, so I'm not gonna touch the trade. I'm gonna let it play. One thing I didn't like I said, is this rejection. So it might not continue lower, but of course that I don't want to get triggered into wishful thinking. So I'm gonna let the trade play. If you want to stop me out, fine. If it doesn't, well, let's see what it heads next time. Okay, so I'm back to NQ on gold. Gold came again to previous value low and it was rejected. Then it's, well, close higher. I don't know. I actually decided to, at this point when the bar opened, to reduce my risk, so it probably could have stopped out there in a minimum risk. And Nasdaq, actually, this actually was pretty good. After this bar didn't trade lower, as I was actually anticipating earlier, it created an inside bar. So I waited for this bar to see what's gonna happen. And at the beginning, like I wrote here, I was thinking about adding on the high, but then I was like, no, it's not clear yet. So what I did instead was I waited. So this bar first took the inside bar high, and then it traded all the way down and took the low. And I was like, okay, maybe I get a stop down. I was locked down at this point here. So I was like, okay, maybe I get stopped down. And then it didn't. And then it took the low. And then I was like, I hesitated. I was like, okay, should I close it? Yes, no. And then I did not. just let it be. And I said, well, okay, if you want to stop me out, actually let it be, because that it breaks the low doesn't mean it's gonna actually continue. So I let it be. I assumed the risk, as I said earlier, and then he came back one after taking the high, then the low, and when he came back up again in this same bar on his high, I actually decided it was actually a pretty good rejection after the double take of the inside bar. So I added one more to my current position, and now it's going like this. So I'm thinking it could continue, it could fail, but I think at this point one thing is for sure that it's just not worth for me to have any extra risk. So I'm gonna just remain around break even, and let's see what he wants to do. I'm gonna watch this close. If it is to close above this high, I will let it go to here. If it fails to close above, I'm gonna close the trade most likely. Let's see. I think this was actually pretty amazing trade. Gold is kind of hesitating a little bit. I don't know. I think risk is quite tiny, so it's kind of fine. But yeah, I would have wanted a stronger push already from gold, which is actually not happening. And one thing that I wanted to mention earlier that I forgot to mention is that why I like to have the volume, especially like just to be there, is to two things is to try to spot a possible absorption for either side, and I want to see how is the value area moving. I use 68%, 68, 70 depends, but I like to see how it moves, like if it's actually developing with price or if it's actually continuous stack somewhere here. And for some reason, I also like to use 9 o'clock at the beginning of the hour before the open as my anchor. So I use 9 o'clock here, pretty much in both of the assets. And yeah, but I actually like that in both sides, the value area is expanding to the upside. That's good. Now Nasdaq, for example, is not that much at this level, but gold was, and this is actually still there is price discovery possible to the upside. So let's see what he wants to do. I think they're both good trades regardless of the results on gold and also on NQ. But yeah,
Order
let's see
filled.
what he wants to go. Oh, gold just clearly got to stop out now. Let's see if he wants to come and close closer or what he wants to do. I'm not scared at this point. I'm just watching price and see what he wants to do. I think I like the fact that he's rejected here at the open, then he traded higher, it closed entirely the gap, he retested the gap again to 50%, and then he traded higher after the inside bar, which is a plus to me. So I think normally I would have taken a short here and probably just lose money. Basically, maybe in this case could have been a break even because after he traded lower, he broke the low, I probably would be break even at this point. But regardless of that, I think it was a pretty amazing execution. Both of them. First, previous bar low, and then the add up after the double break on the inside bar. So let's see what he wants to do now. And yeah, I'm thinking about that. Maybe I don't know. I don't want to mismanage the trades like I've been doing a couple of times. So I would like to see, if not this one yet, but at least this close above this one. This I want to see. If it doesn't close above, I could probably just collapse the trade. Let's see. It has like 25 seconds left. But let's see what the answer is gonna be. And it's not out of fear. It's basically that if it doesn't close above this range, it could possibly just come back and retest or even trade lower after it's failing on the upside here, as I can see in the volume already. So let's see what it wants. Let's see what it wants to. What's next? If the close doesn't follow, I'm out of the trade, which seems to actually want to be now. Let's see. It was good. Close above. I don't like the rejection, but the close is still good. So let's see what it wants. What it does from now on. And I think, like I said, it makes no sense to take a full trade loss, so I think I'm gonna be locked down around here. I'm letting it breathe a little bit. It could possibly retest. One thing I could do is retest. If it fails and it trades higher, I could add one more here, but I don't know if I should assume that much risk. So good. Need to kind of thinking about it. Retest is good so far. The high of this bar is 1AA50. The low of this bar is 1AA25, which is the trade is good. The rejection is playing out so far. Let's see if he wants to break his own high and or he wants to come lower. If he breaks his own high, there could be a continuation possibly to this range here. We'll see. Anyway, what I'm saying just to myself is not like I know it's gonna happen. It's just an anticipation based on my experience and based on like what I'm feeling when I see price. One of the things that I notice here in these bars, especially the retracements, is that the price to the upside, even here, I kind of missed it a little bit when I was shorting. The price, especially here, it was kind of struggling to trade down. but when it was to trade higher, it was quite strong. Like if you could feel the momentum. So that's something that I think is good. Is somewhat I'm in the right side as for now. But let's see what it wants to do. I think like I said, the trade overall is good. So yeah, let's see what's happening. I want to see definitely a break of this high, which is 21300, and this is 211225. So let's see. It should still need to break it. If it wants, it could be also an inside bar after the test. I mean, it can happen. So yeah, so far I'm good with this. I'm good with the decision of the risk to be minimized and also the locked-in profit. So let's see what it wants to do. If I get a stop, for example, if this fails here now, and if I get a stopped out and this bar closes lower than this bar with a lower volume, with the auction pretty much seems to be drying up there, I could definitely take a short, but I'm not gonna think about it yet. I want to let this trade play out first and see what's gonna happen. I liked one of my favorite entries, like I did, for example, here in the ADAP, was to see the retest and the failure. If I want to add, I want to see first the break in this case of the previous bar, and I want to see the price hanging, like I'm not saying hanging, I mean basically remaining above that range, because what I want to see is a break and then a deep retracement. That's actually a bad sign for a continuation. So I want to see it break, clear break, maybe a small retest, and then continuation. That's the best trade for me, because this clearly tells me that the buy side is still on the strong side, so it could possibly continue opening the range. But let's see what it does. All right, so small update. Well, could say, of course, you kind of say I was after the fight. Yeah, you mismanaged, but I'm actually not sure. I allowed the price to breathe a little bit. So after this close above here, price started, well, took the high, retested a little bit, then it came high again. It wouldn't continue. I thought about after the retest of this high, if it was to break again, I would add just to small target here, just to basically grow my position. But then it just didn't, so it tanked, closed lower. At that point, I was still on my trades. I was like, me, I don't feel confident enough to short, especially because this volume is higher than the previous one. So there's no point for me to short anything. I still believe that it could trade higher, but right now I don't have any like A plus setup, so I'm not executing for now, if unless something pops. But anyway, this trade was, I don't know, like plus 600 maybe, something like that. Actually, pretty amazing trade, that one. Well, I thought about letting price breathe, and it didn't. I guess it didn't want to breathe enough, so I got stopped out in profits around here. Yeah, it was still actually a pretty good trade. It was around 300 plus, so yeah, it was good. I was good with the risk. I was good with everything that I did, in the sense. And good thing is, I noticed that I was, well, seeing, I would say, good numbers for where my trading is at as for now. But I wasn't feeling nervous. I wasn't feeling uncomfortable. I was just letting the trade play. Of course, I was risk free and locked in for some. But regardless of that, it wasn't because of fear. It was just because it wouldn't make sense to take a loss after the price is deep in profit. So if he wants to breathe, that's fine. But if he wants to, well, stop me out, whatever, it's okay as well. So yeah, I also on gold. I thought about when the price was here. I actually noticed the volume is lower when it's retracing, and then this retrace was still to be done. So when it did it, I thought about buying it, but then I wasn't sure because I was still on this Nasdaq trace. I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna force it. So I decided to just stay out of the of gold for now. I'm still watching it. If this inside bar continues to play out and it confirms, I could actually buy the break, either break to the upside. But let's see. Let's see what he wants to do, and let's see if he wants to answer to the upside. If he does and he gives some good setup, I might take it. If not, I would just probably remain out of the market for the rest of the day. I think this was a good day overall, regardless of what I left in the table. I think I managed well with my losses and, of course, my win and trades. Sadly, this one didn't play out as I wish, because this was an amazing trade actually. I liked it a lot. Just retest, clean retest, bind the lows here with the volume not looking so good to the downside. And the thing is here, especially, I started to see like quick momentum. For example, when it was dropping, yeah, it dropped, of course, but it wasn't as heavy as when it came up. It actually was coming up pretty strong. So I actually, that's actually a really good sign for me that we might see upside. and that's actually what happened. I don't know. Initially, I was going for around 120 whatever points, but the price is almost 300 to the upside, so that's actually pretty good. I made some small mistakes, like I said earlier, shorting here maybe too early with the not thinking about that the momentum is being quite strong, not from just the rejection, but also the next bar. So it really didn't make much sense for me to be shorting here, but I did. It's okay. And well, I think I engaged pretty well in this inside bar low. Retest was actually quite good. I actually kept in mind this 50%, which actually just came and retested it. And then, yeah, also these, I didn't, like I said, I wasn't sitting on my trade here. This is exactly when I actually thought about, okay, I might get stopped out. No, but then, yeah, it answered and it continues. So let's see. Let's see what he wants to do from now on. And so far, I'm gonna actually a
Order
little
filled.
late in gold. I'm gonna use the same bar as my low. I'm not gonna take the low of the inside bar. And if this trade wants to continue higher, I'm gonna let it be pretty much for the rest of the evening to see whatever it wants to go. But this was actually, I just missed it because I was talking. But this is a really good trade, A plus to me. After this rejection is confirmed on this retest, and this bar closed previous this above this previous bar, and then the inside bar was confirmed. So a little late, but it's still okay. No can do. The risk is still minimum, so it's not bad. Well, Nasdaq is doing its thing now. He found momentum after this retest of these bars here. Let's see if he wants to continue or what he wants to do. It's not giving me any clear entry, so like this previous bar, that's not an entry to me, so there was no point to even think about it. That's why I actually didn't do anything. If he wants to go there, I'm just gonna let it be. I don't wanna force anything out of nowhere. So far I'm remaining out of Nasdaq, and let's see what happens. Actually, I didn't manage to record it, but actually this was actually a pretty amazing reaction. What happened was basically gold. Well, like I said earlier, broke the inside bar high. After this was, to my understanding, confirmed to the upside after the rejection worked here. So what happened was here when the gold like traded around this high here, it found some crazy momentum to the upside. So it could have stopped me in break even. I actually don't care. The point why I'm break even is because after this high, I mean, after the high broke with that momentum that I saw, to me, it makes no sense to take a loss. So if he wants to stop me in break even, I'm good with that. But I think if the momentum is real, if the price wants to continue, it should actually push higher from now if he wants to. I don't know if that's gonna happen, to be honest. I don't like this volume up here. It seems to be like kind of a option, so I could possibly get stopped out. But if it finds some momentum and it wants to continue higher, actually, well, that would be good. But I did like the fact that it just popped out of nowhere, like really strong. So let's see if he wants to answer to the upside or if he actually just gonna come down and fail or whatever. And Nasdaq, well, I was watching here. I was thinking that maybe if it would close somewhere here and retest, maybe I could take a buy. But at this point, what is closing, I think pretty much in 10 seconds, it will be too much risk for me to buy and then take, for example, like here or here the low to then target this. It wouldn't make any sense. So one thing I could do is, for example, if it retest, I could wait for the retest, and when it breaks the high of this current bar, I could buy the high. But this is too tiny, so there's no point for me because it could still retrace lower, just deeper after this break. So yeah, I'm letting Nasdaq be. I think the trade was great on itself, regardless of if it gets to where I wanted to exit or not. So yeah, gonna remain for the rest of the day out of Nasdaq, and I want to see now if gold wants to find momentum to the upside. This close was actually amazing. It's quite good. The highest volume of the day to the upside, including the open here. So yeah, let's see if he wants to do something. One thing I liked a lot was the fact that I noticed this value area moving higher as the price was consolidating here and trading higher. So it is possible that it continues. Of course, it's possible that it goes even sideways or just comes down or whatever. But regardless of the outcome of the trade right now, I'm actually quite happy about it, that I took it a little late, like I said. But well, because my entry would have been here, somewhere here initially. But still, it's fine. So I'm letting it be. Let's see what this bar does, if it breaks its own high and it continue higher, or if it, well, whatever it wants to do. And there it goes. Nasdaq actually went to the tick pretty much this level. Which level is this? This is 271.00 and this bar is 271.25. So at this point, so I think it's amazing actually. I think I actually had a pretty good eye into just go for this high because I was thinking, first of all, like, yes, I could have, for example, here when I bought and when I added, I could have just gone for this high. Fair enough, that's good. But then I was thinking, like, okay, if it's to break this high and this high, it is quite possible that it's gonna just aim for these here. And yeah, I thought about this. Maybe there is a gap here, whatever. I didn't want to aim that far, so I think this is actually a pretty great target to go for. So yeah, I actually did good job. First of all, I bought 2 contracts here. That was good, and then I added one more. I didn't want to add 100%, so I just added 50% of my initial position. So I think it was good. So yeah, nothing else to say about Nasdaq. I'm gonna let it be. As I said, I'm not gonna do anything else. Especially actually earlier, the alarm that sounded was basically to let me know that I was an hour within the session. I am trying to understand my trading better and try to trade the first hour and a half, max 2 hours. So yeah, between 4:30 open my time and 6 o'clock. So let's see if that plays out, because I find out that that's basically is the strongest momentum in price action in the first 30-45 minutes, sometimes 50 minutes, 1 hour and a half. So I think that's great. And what else was I gonna say? Yeah, for example, if I am to trade in the evening, it will have to be news after FOMC or some big news that might come late, late in the evening as they do. So yeah, for now on, I'm gonna remain break even on gold. I'm not gonna touch this trade. If he wants to stop me on break even, fine. If he wants to go trade higher, let's see. I'm gonna watch it later. I'm not gonna buy or do anything else for today besides exiting this trade. Okay, so back to the charts. Well, I basically cleaned my Nasdaq chart. I'm gonna actually delete this because this has been filled. But well, one thing that I need to update myself on. Once I executed the buy here, which I said it was late. I mean, this continued as I was initially wishing for and anticipating, and I was like, okay, price seems to be holding above. This was good. I noticed this also, the volume was a little bit increasing, even though the value area remains here because, well, price has spent a longer time and more volume in here so far. So what I did was, once I saw the reaction, the price holding above here, I noticed that this bar was actually, well, an inside bar. And these, even though I know that I said that I would not engage, I would just let the trade be, I said, like, man, it makes no sense to let this setup be. Like, I added, so I was like, okay, price came here down first on this bar, and it took the low, and if from here it could possibly just tanked. Well, it didn't. And what happened was, when it came back up, I decided, okay, I'm gonna add. Like, it makes no sense for me to have an amazing trade in my hands and not grow my position. So I think this was a really great execution. Besides that I was a little bit late into the main execution, which was supposed to be around here. Then I entered up around, I think it was here, somewhere here. But the point is, I decided to buy. I accepted everything that I did because, well, this is to me is just really great entry. Even the low would have been good, but since I entered late, I just thought that it wouldn't make sense to add another position here, especially when price is trading lower, because it could continue tanking. So this would just be like assuming extra risk for no reason. If it is to, like it did, for example, to break the high after it take the low, then it makes sense because it's clearly reacting to a continuation trade. So yeah, that's exactly what I did here. I added to the high, and then, well, it closed higher, and then the next bar was an inside bar. Same reason why I didn't add here. I wouldn't add to the low, even though it is a really good trade as well, because I just added at the same level. So it wouldn't make no sense for me to just try to grow my position out of like, no, maybe the next leg. For example, here I didn't do it because I thought it was enough for my position at that time. So this was also pretty much same as here. I could have, I didn't, but yeah, I thought that it was already extended and it was good for today, so I just didn't add anything here. Even though this is also a really good trade. First of all, it's an inside bar within a continuation trend here, and is also an inside bar after the leg is created, which is this one. So it's actually pretty amazing trade to add either on the low and at the high. I didn't, well, that's okay. And then, well, last change that I actually made was this one. Why? Because, well, this is the daily swing that I actually got from the daily chart, which is here, this one here, that I said before the price could get there, fine. But then what I did was I went into regular trading hours, and then I noticed this swing high here, basically here. So I was like, yeah, it could definitely come to this daily high that is there. But then I thought, okay, after the price close above this high here, or this range here, this is the pretty much the next high that it could be taken if he actually wants to trade higher. So I thought that for me it was actually great to just decide to exit there, and that's exactly what just happened. Well, I got tagged out of my trade here. Actually, well, I can see here that it was pretty much my best day so far. Yeah, I was initially plus 200 something, can't remember, 235, almost 300, or yeah, 220. And then this trade, I don't know, it was like 300 something. So yeah, it's been an amazing day. It's been a great adaptation, and I actually did, I think, a pretty great job into executing, and especially how to say, exporting the likely direction for the day. So I'm happy about the trade. This was amazing that I saw that I hesitated. So if there's hesitation, I said I try to remind myself that if you hesitate, just don't. Just let it be, and let's see what happens next. So I think it was good that I let it be, and then I saw this setup here. So this was great. Anyway, this is all for me for today. I'm not gonna do anything else when it comes to the charts, and I'm just gonna do my video work, post my well, my recap and my thoughts and everything, and just call it a day. That's gonna be for me. So let's see. That's pretty much it. I'm gonna continue tomorrow, and let's see how is the rest of the week.